Hi everybody, I'm here again after, let's think, like 4 months of a vacation, kind of. One thing that I did figure out though is that I can't have like a regular booktube channel. So the first change that I really want to make is most of this channel is going to be hauls. It's going to be hauls because what I am trying to do is build a small library. Obviously not like a whole room of books, but pretty close to that. And I want things that I could pull from, that I could read. I want a lot of options. I want a well-rounded collection. So that's what I'm trying to do when I buy books, not just, I don't know, just buy books for the sake of buying books. Another thing that I feel like I need to not do on this channel is monthly wrap-ups or like reading goals as far as quantity goes, because I'm always a quality over quantity girl. Quality, and not in that the books that I read have to be great, but that I read them closely. I'm not a passive media consumer at all. If I'm watching something, if I'm reading something, if I'm playing something, I try to come to it with a critical eye because that's just the way I am. Anyway, on to the haul. Let's start over here. The first book that I have is The Dog Stars. It is a post-apocalyptic novel. It actually sounds kind of cliche, but I'm sure, hopefully it's not. Post-apocalyptic world, flu pandemic, one guy lives alone in a hangar with his dog, so a lot like I Am Legend. So it's basically a novel about a specific point in many zombie narratives where the person is alone and then they hear that there might be somebody. It happened in The Walking Dead, it happened in I Am Legend, it happened in The Road, kind of. It happens in a lot of different zombie narratives, so why not read another one? But this doesn't say anything about zombies. That's funny, I just assume zombies had something to do with it, but it definitely doesn't. Yeah, it has nothing to do with zombies. Just, yeah, everybody's dead. Okay. This is The Best of All Possible Worlds. This I went out of my way to buy. It is a sci-fi book written by a black woman. There are not a lot of us out there, and there's certainly not a lot of us getting published, so anytime I hear about a good sci-fi book written by a black woman, I will go out of my way to pay a good amount of money for it, because it has to happen. So, alien society finds its homeland destroyed in an unprovoked attack of aggression. And the survivors have no choice but to reach out to the indigenous humanoids of their adopted world to whom they are distantly related. This sounds great. I think this is what I might read after I'm done with The Martian, which is what I'm reading now. Then I have a Philip K. Dick book. This is The Man in the High Castle. This is something where I don't really need to know what it's about. It's Philip K. Dick. He's a classic sci-fi writer, and I finished Do Android Dream of Electric Sheep either early this year or late last year, I can't remember, and I really liked it. I also felt like it ruined Blade Runner for me because I saw Blade Runner again after reading the book, and Blade Runner is basically, if you remove all of the meaningful and good parts of Do Android Dream of Electric Sheep and put in Daryl Hannah doing backflips, that's Blade Runner. So, and Blade Runner, I could do a whole nother video on that, but love Philip K. Dick, and I will be reading this. Then I have a completely random one. This is Symphony by Charles Grant. It's a bestseller, so, and it's in mass market paperback, so it's probably a fairly well-known one, but I don't know anything about it. Pretty much all I saw was X-Files. It said X-Files right there, so I decided to get it. I love X-Files. Then this is Seed by Rob Ziegler. This 22nd section. It's the dawn of the 22nd century, and the world has fallen apart. In this new world, there's a new power, Satori. More than just a corporation, she is an intelligent living city that manufactures the seed that feeds the haggard remnants of humanity. I got another classic. It's William Gibson's Mona Lisa Drive. I'm pretty sure William Gibson, I could be wrong, but he wrote Neuromancer, which is another classic. Mona Lisa Overdrive. Did I say Overdrive or did I say Drive? Really, I didn't need to know much about this, to be honest. William Gibson is another person that I feel like I need to read. This is another random one. I don't know much about it. This is Peter Straub's Dark Matter. It has a blurb by Stephen King. It's horror, I think, not sci-fi. But I don't think I've ever read a horror book, to be honest. Is Night Film considered horror? I'm finishing that up right now. I have like 100 more pages. If that's considered horror, then I've read some horror. But this is supernatural thriller horror. Then I have Greg Bear's The Hull 03. I've read some Greg Bear stories. The ones I read were super technical and great and really well written, so I want to read more Greg Bear. I've never read a full-length novel. I read a fair amount of his stories, so I figure I go with this. Hull 03 is an edge-of-your-seat thriller set in the darkest reaches of space. I'm all about outer space. I've had a bunch of books set off to the side to haul. Everything is a mess. Everything is a mess. Then I got Game World. But this is a fantasy adventure in a video game turned reality. It looks like the main character is black, which I appreciate. And one thing that's weird is Ziggy Marley did a blurb, which, I mean, this is something I'm going to be reading soon. Then there's Roald Dahl's Tales of the Unexpected. It's short stories, short, weird stories. If I remember correctly, because I've read some of these before, some of them are sci-fi, some of them are fantasy, some of them are satire, some of them are like kind of gross. I think I had this when I was younger, but I've since lost it, I guess, so I got this. Then I got another Philip K. Dick, Eye in the Sky. I actually already have this, but it was a library discard, so it had a bunch of stickers on it, so I just, when I came across it, I just got a newer version. Then I got 2312 by Kim Stanley Robinson. Kim Stanley Robinson is another sci-fi great, and I've never read anything by him. I have a collection of stories, I think, by him that I might have hauled in another video, but this is definitely on my list of something I'm going to read this year, so that's good. Then there's 1 Second After by William M. Forstchen. A story in which one man struggles to save his family in his small North Carolina town after America loses a war that sends our nation back to the Dark Ages. I love things like that where characters have to be, what do you call it, handy? I don't know, to come up with solutions to issues. Maybe it's just because I'm reading The Martian right now. Then there's The Waking Engine by David Edison. This is, let's see. Those who die merely awake as themselves on one of a million worlds where they are fated to live until they die again. Reincarnation, I'm all for that. Then I have The Forever War by Joe Haldeman. I've heard about this before, and I saw that Junot Diaz and Jonathan Latham did a blurb on the back, and I thought, I think that's it for me right now. If you've read any of these books in this haul, please let me know if which ones that I should be starting with first, because